Okay, Colorado, let's go through real fast who the Supreme Court justices are of the Centennial State. So who is the Supreme Court justice, the highest trial court, the highest court in this state? Who are the 7 Supreme Court justices? So let's just start off real fast. Basically, just here's who they are, here's their name, and maybe a few more details after that. So beginning, we got Allison H. Eid, E-I-D, Allison H. Eid. And Allison H. Eid, she was appointed by a Republican governor, Bill Owens, in 2006. She was appointed by Bill Owens in 2006. She worked with Clarence Thomas. Now, Gorsuch, he had became Supreme Court justice, so he is no longer in the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, the U.S. Court of Appeals, the 10th Circuit. Gorsuch was chairing that court. Now he is the Supreme Court, so that 10th Circuit seat has been vacated, and Donald Trump has actually nominated Allison H. Eid to become the 10th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeal judge. And so right now it's being stalled in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. So the nomination has happened. Trump has put forth the nomination. He thinks that Allison H. Eid should be removed out of Colorado and then put into a federal judgeship. So, I mean, Colorado, this is, these are your judges. Colorado loves their judges. They have never kicked a judge out. They retain them by overwhelming supermajorities. So by very high margins. So this would be a sad thing, right? Allison H. Eid, one of the beloved Supreme Court justices of Colorado, she is being nominated, so she might be taken away from us. So now we won't have Allison H. Eid in our Supreme Court. Okay, so that's one. Now we have Brian D. Boatright. Okay, so Brian D. Boatright, this is who he is. This is what he looks like. Just to go back, Allison, she's got red hair, rosy red cheeks, right? So Brian D. Boatright, he's, looks conservative to me, just judging a book by its cover. He seems nice and gentle, but, there could be something else behind those eyes. I looked at Wikipedia. Wikipedia had absolutely no information except for he's a Supreme Court justice. He was a Hinkenlooper appointment in 2011. So that's the check that we have. We'd have no Democratic checks on these judges. I'm not even for sure what would happen if we did not retain them. If we didn't retain them, then the governor would reappoint somebody else. So this is why the governor's chair is so important, because they're the ones that appoint the Supreme Court justices. So, it's not just about the laws that they pass, but it's also about the laws that they judge upon right now. Okay, so Brian D. Boatright, he's another Supreme Court justice of Colorado, and like I said, 2011 Hinkenlooper appointment. So out of 2 of these, since Colorado is so understands their civics so well, 2 of these Supreme Court justices are up for re-election, or not re-election. Like I said, there's no competitive elections. The way that they do it in Colorado is you don't have vote for candidate A, vote for candidate B, and then they become the judge. All you have is Hinkenlooper appointed somebody, and after their 10-year term is up, because every Supreme Court justice, each one of these members, this is Márquez, who's one of about 12 openly gay judges in the country. So Márquez, and they're also getting paid $122,972 per year if you're the associate or if you're the chief. And of course, as all Coloradans know, the chief judge is Nancy E. Rice, right? Nancy E. Rice, which we'll get to in a second. So right now we're with Monica M. Márquez. So she'll be, Monica M. Márquez, she was Governor Bill Ritter appointed in 2010. So in 2010, she was appointed by Bill Ritter to be the Supreme Court justice, and she's been in there, the entire time. So after her 10-year term is up, instead of having her running against somebody else, instead she's put before the voters, and the voters either say, yes, we keep her, or no, we dispose of her. And if we kick her out, then I think that the governor just appoints somebody else, and then we have a retention appointment for them. I'm not for sure how that exactly works out, to be honest with you, but I know that it does limit the amount of Democratic say-so, Democratic check. There's no check of the judicial system, but, no Democratic check because they're not democratically elected. At no point in time are any of these judges democratically elected. Okay, so Monica Márquez, she kind of looks like a gay, woman. But that's okay, right? She seems friendly, nice, well-dressed, and she was a Catholic. She fought with the Jesuits, the fighting Jesuits, and she's openly gay, so that's all I really know about her. And Governor Bill Ritter appointed her, right, in 2010. So that's Monica Márquez, one of our, Supreme Court justices. So we have next Nancy Rice. And who is Nancy Rice? Well, Nancy Rice, she's the chief. This is the chief justice. All the justices get together and then they vote for the chief, who they like the best and who they don't like the best. Right? So once all these justices are appointed by the governors, then they get together and amongst themselves, kind of like how the president of city council in Pueblo is chosen. The city council people all get together and amongst themselves vote for their president. Same thing with the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court all got together. They chose Nancy Rice. Nancy Rice, she's the chief, right? So she must be just overwhelmingly fair. Just fairness just oozes out of her skin. She was appointed by Governor Romer in 1998. So Romer, Bill Owens, Hickenlooper, Ritter. So she was a Governor Romer appointment in 1998. And the people of Colorado in 2010, they retained her, and then 2000 they retained her, and then 2010 they retained her. So she's going to be just probably the Chief Justice until 2020. So for another 3 years, but we paid her $125,656 per year. Times that by 10, well, she's making, $1.25 million. We have made her a millionaire 2 times over because we have given her 2 decades. We have given Nancy Rice 2 decades of our taxes, so we've made her a millionaire twice over. If she was to have saved every penny that she had received, then she would have $2.5 million after the 20 years. We made her a millionaire. So are we getting $1 million justice? I mean, that's, I guess, up for you all. She graduated Utah law, which a lot of these folks have a lot of other state origins, and then that's all I know about her. So, I don't know any of their cases. I know nothing about their personality. I only can get a sense of whether they lean one way or another, usually by the appointed. The governor, if it's a Democratic governor, you would think that they would have, be better. I think, personally, that they would be better. You have, okay, so that's Nancy E. Rice. Okay, that's the Chief Justice. Now we have Nathan B. Coates, right? Nathan B. Coates got the white hair, the big white hair, sort of looking like what's Robert Redford. So he's got the Robert Redford hair. He's got the white Robert Redford hair. He's got that smug little face like, what are you looking at? So he's all flirty. And, these judges, they, when they're on the bench, they act like their shit don't stink. But, Nancy Rice, she's smiling. She looks like George Washington. She looks identical to George Washington and some of these older judges. Nancy Rice does. So she's like, oh, look at my face. Here it is, right? She's got a little pungy nose. And she's got that hair. I don't know. That's just what she looks like, right? These are your Supreme Court justices. Nathan B. Coates, right? Got the Robert Redford hair. Richard Gabriel, he seems very happy. Very happy. Then he actually seems somewhat young here too. And then William W. Wood, WWW. He's bald, but he's happy too, right? So he's not like a one of those pawn shops guy, right? Shaves his head, and he's like, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Seemingly, they all got nice, warm faces. Okay, Richard, that's kind of warm. I don't know, Nathan B. Coates, it's less warm. I'm more confused by you. Okay, Nancy Rice wants me to like her. Monica Márquez, she seems really happy. And being a gay judge makes me happy about her. Brian D. Boatright. So he knows how to boat. He's a right boater. I guess his ancestors were good at boating. They were right boaters. So he's seemingly nice, right? He's balding but not shaved. He hasn't shaved his head. He is balding but seems okay with who he is. And then Allison H. Allison H., since she was picked by Donald Trump to fill Gorsuch's position in the 10th Circuit District, that makes me very skeptical of Allison H. Eid. I'm not finished with sort of their... so let's just finish this. Okay, Nathan B. Coates, right? So Mr. Coatman, Mr. Nathan B. Coatman, you got Boatman, then Coatman. So in 2002, 74% of Coloradans embraced Nathan B. Coates. They said, yes, Nathan B. Coates. In 2002, all Colorado voters stood up and in unison, 74%, not just a simple majority, overwhelming supermajority, said, yes, Nathan B. Coates is the man for the job. Yes, put him in as Supreme Court Justice. We love Nathan B. Coates. That's what they said in 2002, and they repeated it in 2012. 72% voted to retain Nathan B. Coates. So Nathan B. Coates was enthusiastically put into office in 2002, had such a tremendous 10 years, right? He made his $1 million, but he was such a good millionaire judge. He had $1 million decisions. He was, for the oppressed. He was for the oppressed. And he fought for the oppressed. And so he is just so great that 72% in 2002, Colorado, 72% of Colorado, once again, in a united chorus, stood up and said, Nathan B. Coates shall rule for another 10 years as the Supreme Court associate judge. So until 2022. And he'll probably get retained again if he wants to. He was Governor Bill Owens appointed, so that's a Republican governor. So it makes me somewhat skeptical. Don't know why Colorado loves him so damn much. I think it's because of the retention election. It's a stupid election, and people don't know what the hell is really going on. But that does show that we'll retain any judge. It doesn't matter who and how corrupt they are. Let's just conserve. No, conserve everything. Keep everything exactly the same. Why? Because if without Nathan B. Coates, the Supreme Court of Colorado wouldn't have been as good. I think it would have been just as good. With or without him, I don't believe that Colorado actually loves Nathan B. Coates as much as these election numbers suggest that they do. So that's another Supreme Court Justice, Richard Gabriel. Richard Gabriel is this guy, and he was appointed by Hickenlooper in 2015. He was voted as a super lawyer in 2008. So this is Richard L. Gabriel. Right, Gabriel is an angel. Richard, Dick is another name, so he's a Dick Angel. So Mr. Dick Angel here is, he was appointed by Hickenlooper in 2015, and he was a super lawyer in 2008. And last but not least, William W. Wood. William W. H. Hood. Why do I say, is it Hood or Wood? William W. Hood or Wood. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? I wrote down Hood. I'm going to go with Hood. And so this, this man, the third, William W., definitely, Hood or Wood, the third, he was a prosecutor for 10 years in the 18th Judicial District. Then he was a Denver court judge for another 10 years, or 6 years in 2007. So he was a prosecutor for 10 years. He was a Denver court judge for 6 years. And then Hickenlooper appointed him in 2013. He graduated Virginia University Law, and he started out as a private lawyer to begin with. So this man's had a pretty decent life, right? He was a private lawyer for a while, then he got to be the prosecutor for 10 years, the 18th Judicial District of Colorado, and then he was a Denver court judge for 6 years, and now he's a Supreme Court justice. Since 2013 for the last 4 years. He's been making $122,972, so about $123,000 per year. And that's all I know about this man, William W. Hood or Wood. Hood or Wood. Hood, woulda, shoulda. So if it's Hood, I mean, he's definitely not from the hood. I don't know if he would be wearing a hood. And if it's Wood, well, there's a lot of penis jokes there, right? So Mr. William W. Wood, he's known to be hard, but fair. So those are the 7 Supreme Court justices, Colorado. I'm sure you already knew all that. We can go through them one more time. So this is William W. Wood or Hood. Go ahead and Google that so you know for sure. This is my teaching lesson too. Richard Gabriel, right, Mr. Dick Angel. Then Nathan B. Coates, the Coates man with the Robert Redford hair, who was nominated or appointed a really long time ago. Really, really long time ago. No. Yes. He was appointed by Bill Owens. And he was retained in 2002, so he's been in there forever. So, yeah, Republican Bill Owens picked this Robert Redford, still in the hair wannabe, Nathan B. Coates, Nancy E. Rice, Elizabeth, Nancy Everywoman, Nancy look-alike George Washington, forefather, who actually got powdered wig on. Seems nice enough, nice happy face. She was the chief. She's been in there forever, too. She was appointed by Governor Romer in 1998. So she's been in there for 19 years. 19 years. Coates has been in there for, 15 years or so. But she's been in there since 98. So 2 years plus 17, 19 years. Almost 20 years. And, of course, the people of Colorado embraced her, too. In 2000, she was retained, and in 2010, she was retained. So, by overwhelming supermajorities. So, Colorado just loves Nancy Rice. I don't know why they love their Supreme Court justices as much as they do. I don't think they actually do. I think the voting mechanisms is really fucked up, so they don't know what the hell they're voting for. Judge not, lest ye be judged. No, that's not it. Forgive them, dear Lord, they know not what they do. Colorado has no idea why they love their Supreme Court justices so much. She is openly gay, which gives me hope, but I've known very many ultra-right-wing, fascist, conservative gay folks out there. So that gives me hope, but I don't know. She was Bill Ritter appointed, whoever Bill Ritter is, Monica M. Márquez, okay? And Brian D. Boatright, he is one of the best boat riders ever. He boats right. There's some people that boats wrong, but he boats right. And Wikipedia had no fucking information on him. He was appointed by Hinkenlooper in 2011, and that's it. Brian D. Boatright, Mr. I'm comfortable with balding, and I'm not going to shave my head like William Wood or Hood. I'm not going to be a cue ball. I'm going to be just a balding person with, I got a little hair. I got some hair back there. I'm going to keep it. And then, of course, Allison H. Okay, so this is my question to you, and then I got one mind-blowing fact, and then I'm done. Okay, so for Allison H. this lady is going to be retained next year, November 2018. The people of Colorado, these are the 2 candidates out of all the 7 that they're going to be, the people of Colorado are going to ask whether or not you want to retain this person or not. You're not going to vote for this person or that person. They're just going to ask you, do you think Allison H. Eads' job has been so tremendous, so incredible, that you want her back on the bench? Do you want Allison H. Ead back on the bench? And they're going to ask you that, Colorado, for next year. So you need to know who Allison H. Ead is. She might be picked up. If I'm Allison H. Ead, I think I would. She's already been nominated, so if the Senate Judiciary Committee picks her to be the 10th Circuit Judge, she will become the 10th Circuit Judge. She will become, the U.S. Court of Appeals 10th Circuit Judge, and she will abandon Colorado immediately. She will turn her back on Colorado, even though Colorado has employed her for the last 11 years. 11 years. She was appointed in 2006. So you need to know who Allison H is. Do you really love her and want to retain her? Do you want to keep her on the payroll judging, being the Supreme Court judge for all Colorado? Or do you want to kick her out and just pick anybody else? Give me somebody else. Give me a candidate that I approve of. I do not approve of them. As a Colorado voter, I will not retain any single judge because I think that this election process is total bullshit. It's not a fair election process, so I will not retain any of these judges. I will always vote to kick them out until there's an actual judicial process where the people's vote, the people's voice actually matters. Right now, our vote doesn't matter. It's basically, do you approve of her as what, a human, as a person? Yeah, maybe I might approve of her as a person, but as a public official who's, clearly Trump loves her, thinks that she should replace Gorsuch. Gorsuch is who's, more right-wing than Scalia. So she's going to be replacing him. So she's got to be, I would assume, ultra-conservative. No, I'm not going to fucking retain you, you far right-wing fascist. There was also there was a board that had said, clear the bench. They were against a lot of these folks, and they said that the reason why they were against these judges because they said that when it comes to congressional redistricting, eminent domain, property taxes, they were very much partisan. They were very much partisans when they were on the bench. So, Colorado, you're going to choose between Allison H. and do you know who the other judge, Supreme Court judge that you're going to, be asked to retain? Do you know who that's going to be for November of next year? Richard Gabriel. So those are the two choices for Supreme Court Justice for you, Colorado. You're going to have to choose between Richard Gabriel, and you're going to have to choose between Allison H. And you're also going to have to decide between five Colorado Court of Appeals people, too. Do you want to retain 5 of the Colorado Court of Appeals? And here's a mind-blowing statistic, right? So this is pretty bad, but the Court of Appeals, I think, is a bigger mess, okay? So the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court, they get paid $122,972, so about $125,000 for the chief, right? So the $125,000, they get paid $139,000, the Court of Appeals. So if you want to make more money, don't become a Supreme Court justice. Become, the second court. There's 22 appointments. There's 22 judges in the appeals court for Colorado. So Colorado has 7 Supreme Court justices and 22 appeals court. So 22 second intermediator, appeals court. That's a lot of judges. That's a shit ton of judges who get paid more per year, $139,000 per year, and they get 8-year terms. So we're making them millionaires too, and they don't have to take the spotlight that the Supreme Court justices would take. So for next year, there's going to be 5 of them, and I'll do a different video about them later, but you're going to have to choose between 5 Court of Appeals. Colorado, do you want to keep 5 judges on the Court of Appeals? Do you want to retain them? And I say no to all of them unless they're just like so tremendously, overwhelmingly progressive, then yeah, I would retain them. But unless they're overwhelmingly progressive, no, I'm not going to vote to retain any of the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court justices for next year. Sorry, Allison H. Now, Richard Gabriel, he seems somewhat, cheerful and polite. I might reconsider him. But for the time being, absolutely not. We have, if the whole state is just going to overwhelmingly rubber stamp, retain every fucking judge that's up for election, we're just going to retain every single one of them just for the fuck of it. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. That's not independent voting. That's not smart voting. That's really, really stupid. So it's pretty bad with the Supreme Court justice, but with the appeals judges, 22 are appointed. They're getting paid more, $139,000. They get 8-year terms. And like I said, there's 22 of them. 5 of them are going to be retained probably by next year. So they'll get 8 years on top of the amount of time that they've already got. And so these other 2, Richard Gabriel and Allison H., that's the decision we're going to be making for them. Do we want Richard Gabriel to have power as a Supreme Court justice for the next 10 years? Do we want to keep paying him for, every one of those years, $123,000 every year for the next 10 years? Do we want to make Richard Gabriel a millionaire? Do we want to make Allison H a millionaire, over the 10 years? Do we want to make them powerful and very, very wealthy? Before, this is like the lottery. I mean, my God, if we the people are going to make, people rich and powerful, you would think that we would have, we would think about this a little bit more. We would, have an actual election instead of doing this appointed retention entire process. So, yeah, those are the 7 Supreme Court Justices, Colorado: William W. Hood III, Monica M. Márquez, Brian D. Boatright, Richard L. Gabriel, Nathan B. Coates, Nancy E. Rice, and Allison H. Eid. So, thank you.